So early, you had Finney play for the first two plays, got a carry, and then no more. What was the reason for having him play those first couple plays?
Well, we just wanted to, if he was healthy enough, I wanted to put him in the game and have our normal starters play. And so after he carried the ball once, then we just decided not to have him play the rest of the game. And I'm really happy for Dan, because Dan has worked hard. I mean, he comes to work every day, and you know he walked on here, and I gave him a scholarship. You know, we gave him a scholarship in a week of getting here, right? We said, yeah, he's plenty good enough. He can play, and he was a little bit snake bitten through his career about staying healthy. We started him at wide out. We're trying to get as many athletes on the field. Played him there, moved him to tailback, and then for whatever reason he'd been beat up or whatever, and just couldn't stay healthy. And then we moved him to safety, and then back to running back. And I'm just proud of his performance tonight. And I mean, I'm really happy for him as a senior, going out last home game here, you know, as a senior. And I can't be more proud of him. And I'm sure Finney is just as proud. I guarantee you. I mean, that guy is the soul of our team, but he is happy for Dan McSurdy as well.
It's funny, those two long runs he had, like that's McSurdy, right? He's a home run threat. That's his deal.
He is. He's a different gear. He's different than X. X is a slasher. Danny's a juke guy that can step on the gas and outrun you, and he showed that tonight. I mean, he has very good speed, good vision, and you know, it's exciting. Those big runs, I like those drives. Those one-play drives, I'll take those any day.
I'm curious, Kramer's talked about trying to get more yards than the Big Sky team ever. At one point during the season, though, or maybe really in August, did you think you'd be quite this prolific?
We never talk about it. We don't talk about. You can ask Dan. You can ask all those guys. We don't talk about it in meetings. We don't ever talk about how many yards. We just talk about our execution, what we're going to try to do that week, and really, you know, all that stuff is great afterwards. You know what I mean? Because when you're playing, you just want to win. I just want to get a W. I don't really care, you know, in the end. And it seems like cliche, you know, right? Well, we don't really care. We do in the end when it's all over. But when you're playing week to week, and you grind from week to week, staying healthy, right? All that stuff, and if you're fortunate enough to get an opportunity to do that stuff, then that's awesome. I mean, it's a blessing that way. You know what I mean? But I don't ever talk about that to the offense, or that's like a focus point for us at all. We just want to perform every day, right? And focus on us and talk about individual performance and then as a unit. So the goals that we set are just for us, you know, week to week, and if all that stuff is that comes with it, that's great. That's just frosting on the cake.
Well, Arias is obviously the most high profile, one of the most high profile seniors on your team, and you know, even kind of an off night, he plays well again. Can you just talk about, you know, his kind of a value to this team this whole year?
Yeah, I mean, he's very steady. His personality's that way. They talked about it today in the journal about him being steady, and he is. He's a rock for our offense. He never gets too high or too low. Threw a couple picks today, and I'm sure he'd like to have him back. You know, one was underthrown, the other he just misread the coverage, and I'm sure he'd tell you the same, that he'd like to have him back. But he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't, right, in terms of that, and he takes one play at a time, and you know, that's his best attribute, in my opinion. It's just he's steady, you know, and you know, he's gotten stronger as the season wore on. He did a great job keeping his body fit during the season, being able to lift. He got stronger as the season wore on, but we always talk about playing consistent, and I think he did that for 12 games. You can't throw for 4,000 yards. It's hard to do. I mean, you can call as many pass plays as you want, but to get them off and to get yards and that stuff, it's hard to do. And for him to accomplish that, that's tremendous.
How much have you thought about, if at all, that this might be the last game that you'll spend with these seniors?
I just wanted to be 1-0 tonight. I love those guys. I love all of them. You know, we push them hard. We grind them. We expect a lot out of them. And that's the best part about football. It's a team deal, and it's something where you're in the locker room and you don't have to talk about it, but you look across to the other guy and you know everything that you've done, all the workouts, right? All the early mornings or late nights or whatever, and everybody, they come together and they have the same feeling, and that's what I love about this sport.